Okay, so let's talk about procrastination. I think this is a really interesting topic that comes with all sorts of different facets and angles. So let's dive into why we do it in our creative life and some tips about how to cope with it and deal with it. Let's get started. So yesterday I was listening to a podcast with some creative hearts talking about this idea of resistance, and they were going through a project and they'd come close to the end and they were just feeling like all this resistance, and it was showing in the form of procrastination in their life. Now, I personally have a love-hate relationship with the term resistance, and I think that it's a worthwhile thing to know about if it's something that you haven't been aware of before. So when I'm talking about resistance, it's something that I first came across in Steven Pressfield's book, The War of Art, which is a very masculine sort of approach in some ways to dealing with this phenomena. And for me, it felt a little bit too hardcore, like if you're resisting something, then you just have to push through it and make it happen. Now, that might not be the way that other people read that book. I know a lot of people find it really helpful, but for me, I found it was just like, oh, put the brakes on. That doesn't work for me. Instead, what I've found is useful when it comes to resistance in my creative life is looking at it with a sense of gentleness and self-nurturing and being kind to myself. And what I've found is there's often, when I boil it down, only two reasons why I'm procrastinating on a project. And the first is because I actually need more information. I don't know what this tiny little element is to be able to create the larger picture. Or it might not even be that small. It could just be this gaping hole in my set of skills or the materials that I have or the timing. And if I take the pressure off myself and go, okay, what's the next small step that I can take in this project? Then usually I can get a little bit of momentum going again. So that's the first tip that I would suggest, is breaking things into small steps. And if you're feeling frozen with a business project or a creative project or decluttering your wardrobe, or I don't know, whatever it is that you are wanting to face and do, see if you can just make it so that it takes 2 minutes to do the next step. You might decide that you want to just find a book that's going to give you some inspiration around it, or you might decide that you're going to do a bit of research on I'm having a mind blank, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So yesterday, I'll give you an example from my life. So yesterday, I wanted to film more of these blog post videos for you, but I came up against some resistance. And when I looked at it, it was like, do you know what actually is the problem here? The problem is I'm feeling a little bit uninspired because I run out of outfits that I think look kind of nice with this backdrop. A lot of my clothes are a bit too dark and they come across really heavy in the video. So what I decided to do was give myself the pleasure of going and finding some bright, colourful scarves to break things up. And I did that by heading off to the local country town and going to the op shops. And I had so much fun. You know, I got this scarf for $1. And I had such a ball that then I came home and I felt really pleased and happy knowing that the resistance that I was feeling, which was valid resistance, I don't want to look the same in all of my videos. It might be vanity, it might be creativity, whatever you call it, that's what I was feeling. And instead, I had been able to transform it by taking a small step. And now here I am talking to you, which is a great thing. So see if you can break it down into small steps. And that's when the resistance is coming from a lack of information or a lack of materials or skills. The second time that I've noticed resistance or procrastination creep into my life is when my attention has been shifted from looking for satisfaction within myself and instead putting it onto others. So it comes down to being worried about what other people are going to think. And if that's the case, then I take really considered action to reverse that and put the locus of satisfaction back within my own heart. And I have to make sure that I'm being friendly with myself and say, you know what, Nick, let's just make it that you're going to do 4 videos today and we'll see how they work out. And if you don't like them, you don't have to show anyone, but you make sure that you're happy with them. Now, some of these things might sound like they're just ways to delay a project even longer. I know a lot of people say you should stop researching, and a lot of people say that you don't have to wait till things are perfect. And there's definitely times for both of those tips. But what I've found is the more kind and the more gentle I am with myself, the more I can rely on myself as the years and the months and the weeks tick over to keep showing up and keep being vulnerable and to keep being real and stepping up and chasing my creative dreams. So I really hope that those 2 different angles might give you some different ways of looking at procrastination and resistance today, and give you some tools to be able to overcome them if it's something that you're facing in any area of your life, particularly in your creative life, I suppose. And that's about it for me for this week. I'm wishing you a beautiful day. Make sure that you're kind to yourself, nurture your creativity, and I'll see you later. Bye. Now, if you're new to my blog and you would like some help to get started with painting and creativity, I've created a beautiful 10-day free e-course that takes you through just that, getting started with painting and creativity. And you can find that at nicolanewman.com/begin. And in there, you'll be taken through how to paint an abstract painting. We'll do some writing and some photography exercises, and it's loads of fun.